Hello to all my YouTube viewers. I'm quite excited about this review because this involves two of the latest Baofeng radios. Now the first one is the GT-3 on the left, and then is the BF-F8 Plus on the right hand side. Now I have done a written review of the F8 Plus on the website, and the link to that is in the descriptions area of this video. Now the GT-3, it's very new. There's a lot of talks about this on the internet. I'm quite excited to be using this GT-3 model. The GT-3 on the left has an output power of 5 watt and the coverage of the frequency is 136, 174 and 400, 520, which is the same as the BF-8 Plus and a number of other UV-5R series. The GT-3 uses SMA female antenna, so the pin is actually on the body of the radio, which is the same as the BF-8 Plus. Although the model number appears to be different, the actual size of the battery, i.e. the capacity, is the same, 1800 mAh for both the GT-3 and the BF-8 Plus. Both radios have the reverse LCD display, which is white on black. So when you turn the power on, you will see the writing is in white. This is the GT-3. And the Baofeng BF-8 Plus. The layout of the main keypad is the same, so the GT-3 on the left and the BF-8 Plus, they both have the same layout on the main keypad. The GT-3 and the older versions of Baofeng's, they all share the same belt clips, so the space between the two screws is exactly the same, so you can use the same belt clip for all of them. The new model still uses the same power adapter, so the connection on the back of the new GT-3 drop-in charger is the same as the Baofeng UV-5R series. The three buttons on the left hand side of the radio have not changed. This is the call and FM radio button, PTT, and monitor, which opens a squelch and used as a torch. On the new GT-3, when you press menu, you have 40 options. So going from squelch level all the way up to number 40. Now you can still dial in the option number. So 40 is reset all. So let's take a look if it is the same as the older model. Well, this one is new as well, but I'm sure you can see the resemblance with the UV-5R original one. So again, menu goes from 0 to 40. So if I put them side by side, you will see there's no change on the GT-3 to the BF-8 Plus, or even compare this to the older UV-5R series. GT-3 comes in this new slim packaging design, which is very different to the old UV-5R and indeed other Baofeng radios in the box on the left hand side. In terms of the external design, the GT-3 has definitely made some radical changes. There is a lot of bright colors and it looks like soft touch, but it is just plastic rather than rubber. And this is the same for the buttons. Again, it's got the orange surrounding to the keys, which makes them look bigger. And the same thing goes on the left hand side. And so in terms of, like I said, the look is very different. I think the word for it is a major facelift. Well, can you tell which one's brighter? It feels like the GT-3 on the left is brighter when you look at it, because it's got a newly designed lens and the LED feels like more powerful. And hopefully you can see it from this angle as well. The GT-3 looks more like a white light rather than the other model, which looks a little bit blue. So the LED light on top of the GT3 is more flat, looks like it's got a little piece of glass covering it, whereas the BF-8 Plus, same as the other UV-5R models, it's more exposed, an LED light on top of the radio. Also, if you look at the on and off switch or the volume dial, the GT3 has a chrome design on top, whereas the older models just have a black plastic one. Also, there's a rubber ring fitted surround the big dial, which makes it very easy to turn it on and off just by using one finger, because you get a lot of grip, where the older one is slightly harder because it's quite slippery. All of the older radios have the speaker microphone plug, the little cover opens backwards. Okay, so this is pushing it back, whereas the new one, the GT3, has a little door that you push it down. So there's a little kind of, not a hinge, but a little piece of plastic that's keeping it in place. Okay, so just push it back in place, whereas the older models, again, it flips open from the front. So now the speaker section on the new GT3, you can see the actual speaker, it's more of an exposed see-through over here, whereas the older models, it's all covered by the plastic. There are some other differences in terms of the shapes of the keys. Now the VFO and memory key has been reshaped. You can also see the receive and transmit indicator has been reshaped, so it's a lot longer than the older model. The color of the A and B band switch, display switches here, has changed to a lighter blue, and for some reason that the GT3 model has carried on or continued with a band key on the right hand side, whereas the BF-F8 Plus has got rid of that band key. Now there are a couple of newer models like the UV-5RT and this BF-F8 Plus have got rid of that band key. The position of where you're going to put your wrist strap has changed from on the side, which is the standard one for all Baofeng UV-5Rs, now to the top of on the back of the radio here. With the GT3, it's got the raised sides, so the battery kind of slides within the radio itself, whereas on the F8 Plus or the other UV-5R ones, you can see the batteries are completely exposed from the side and the back. The desktop charger has changed its shape completely. You won't be able to charge the old radio in this new dock or the new radio in the old one. So this is the GT3 in its new charger. And this is the F8 Plus in the old style charger. A little bit thinner with this new charger than the older one. And just like the old one, you can still charge the battery on its own without connecting it to the radio in this desktop charger. The user's manual for the GT3 has also gone posh. It's smaller and it's in full color, especially for the front, the first few pages where it's talking about the GT3 model specifically, and you can see the radio in full color pictures here. However, if you look closely, the actual instructions in the later part of the manual has not changed at all. I mean, the layout could be changed because it's now printed on a much smaller, in a smaller format, but the actual wording, say for example here, how to set the squelch for 12.3 is exactly the same as in the old manual, the black and white one in the bigger size. And the pictures here, they have been shrunk to fit the page, but like I said, all the notices, all the instructions here is written in the same English, or I should say not very good English. In terms of the performance of this radio, i.e. the receive and the transmit quality, I just cannot tell the difference between the F8 Plus on the right hand side and the GT3. They are very similar. Now let's talk about the so-called waterproofing ability of this GT3. Now there's nowhere I can find the IP or the waterproof rating in the box, and I couldn't see anything. For example, the battery compartment, and I couldn't see anything that with a rubber seal around the edges. There's nothing there to protect the contact. Neither was just on top of the radio. Well, what can I say about waterproofing? It's probably more waterproof than the older radios, but I wouldn't say it's a waterproof on the same level as the Yaesu, for example, the FT252 or the Ocean KG UV-6D. Another example about waterproofing is just looking at the speaker microphone connection here. I mean, it's not soft rubber, it's just hard plastic, which I think the older models are doing just as well as this one. It's a tight fit, but again, it's the same as the older model. So to put it this way, I won't be using this radio in the rain, and neither would I be using the Baofeng BF-F8 Plus or UV-5R, C or E Plus, all of the other models. So please just bear in mind, these are not designed to be waterproof radios. They may have some splash proof capability, and certainly I can see the attempt on the new radio in terms of the casing is trying to be more splash proof than the older one, but the fact that there isn't an IPX2 or IP55 or any rating like that, it just makes you think you wouldn't want to risk it by using it in the rain. So to finish off this review, would I buy a Baofeng GT3? Well, I would, because personally I quite like the orange colour on the outside of the radio, and two, because it's got the reverse LCD display screen, same as I would have the F8 Plus. And the operating system is a BF-B297, which is the same as all the latest Baofeng radios you buy from the internet these days. So in terms of that, there's very little changes. It's really external changes that you've got to take into account when you make the decisions. It's whether you like lots of orange, bright colors on your radio, or do you like the reverse LCD, the white on black display rather than the black on white. And would you want to just buy a new model for the sake of because it's newer than the last one? I mean, everyone's different. My opinion is I would buy one, and it's still a very good radio. Just don't expect it to be a completely new radio from inside out, because it continues all the good things that the UV-5R has, and at the same time it's not a brand new radio. So your expectation should be somewhere along the lines of a facelifted Baofeng UV-5R that looks very cool, different to the older models. Thanks guys for watching my video again, and I hope you find the review useful, and I'll see you next time.